excited to be here with you with two amazing young men that I've known for many years now. And I just want to remind you why we're here at the Agora Cast. We're here to share stories about how God can move and change people's lives, that he is in the life-changing business. And we're excited to see that and want to share that with you guys. I have two incredible dudes that I love very much on this podcast. So if I could have you guys introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about yourselves.
My name is Ruben Cordova.
He's camera shy.
Yeah, a little bit.
First of all, I just want to thank God for what he's done in my life. Of course, my name is Rudy Cordova. This is my brother Ruben Cordova. We grew up in a rough home, and praise God. I mean, he does amazing things, and I just want to share my story with somebody that's lost or doesn't know who Jesus is. Jesus is the truth.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited you guys are here. I say Ruben and Ruben Dog, but these guys are amazing. I've actually got some pictures, so I'm going to ask Emma's in our booth over here producing the video, but go ahead and swipe over a little bit. So as you can see here, for those of you who are listening only and not watching on YouTube, there's Ruben right there as a young man, and look, your little brother over there.
That's my cousin.
Your cousin. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Swipe it, Emma, and then. Look at that. There's Ruben. There's some pizza. Always ready. How old do you think you were there? That was like 2004, 2005.
I was probably like 13.
12 years old. Dang, how old are you now?
I'm about to be 34.
34, man.
Yeah.
I better turn my phone off. That's crazy. So we've known you a long time.
Yeah.
All right, go to the next one, Emma. Well, who's that right there? Rude dog right there.
Yeah.
Crazy. Rudy, you were always a little bit more crazy than Ruben, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But enjoying some pizza. All right, keep going. That's at our San Fernando location. Look at that. Can you believe you were that young?
I can't
Look at that. Do you remember that? We go to basketball.
Yeah, the basketball
Home
gym?
Court America.
Yeah.
Right. Doug Hines. And, ever go back one. And then there you are again. Look at that. The earring.
The bunny ear.
The bunny ear. That's funny. I didn't notice that till you said that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, as she goes back to the main slide, I got a question for you guys. Just in general. Tell me about that time of your life. You started coming. I remember we did our first night at Agora. We called it back then 24/7 Youth.
24/7 Youth.
Sharing
yes.
the never-ending love of God.
Right.
And you guys came. And tell me what that was like for you guys.
It was good. It was a good experience, knowing a lot of people there that knew God. Knowing just being around, it was good, because we were young, me and Rudy, and we just wanted to have somewhere to go, feel peace, and because like we say, we grew up with a separate family and all that, but it was good. Going to 24 Youth.
Now, okay, if you what's the age difference?
Like two years apart.
Okay, so if you were 13 and you were like 11 years old, man, coming on Friday nights.
Yeah.
All right. What was it like to you back then coming?
So God always reminds me of this all the time. So I remember one time I was coming out of school, and I was at the foyer.
Yeah.
And I was coming out, and it was Pepe and Gus at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I was coming out, Gus and Pepe go, "Hey, we're gonna have free pizza."
Yeah.
That's all they tell me.
Yeah.
We're gonna have free pizza. Come by.
Yeah.
So God does things that we don't understand. So I think I told Ruben. I know Ruben told me and said, "Hey, they're gonna have pizza. Let's go." And what a coincidence! It was like a block away.
Yep.
From where we live.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, so you're raised in a situation where sometimes you don't have nothing to eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have nothing to drink.
Yeah.
So for us, that was an escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an escape. So
that's awesome.
And we grew up in a broken home. Honestly.
Especially on a Friday where they're doing the free pizza, drinks, and all that. So it was exciting for us. We're like, we're gonna go eat pizza this week.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And so I know y'all came for a long, long time. I mean, really all throughout your junior high and high school, right?
For
so
sure,
there's like 6-7 years of being there. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, I still remember you guys. I always went home and would pray for you guys, and Misty and I would talk about you guys. And you always had those smiles. As you can see, they smile a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that just stood out is you guys, even in middle of some really rough situations, You always had a really great attitude. So
Right.
that was a natural thing. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So, all right. So you're coming to youth, but then now as time goes by, there was a season where what I want to do is give those that are listening or viewing this an idea of what it's like to be in the West Side, because it's a different community.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so I remember there was a point where Gus called me and he said, okay, hey, Jason, we have that bus in the backyard, and Rudy and Ruben have been having a place to sleep.
Yeah.
Can we leave it open so they can be back there? And I said, yeah, whatever we need to do. And we'd like to do more, but I don't know what we can do, but for sure that's an easy one. So tell me about that. Like what circumstances were you in where you would have to be like that? How often was it? And what is it like honestly, in your heart, to have to, you're a teenager and you're having to find somewhere else to sleep.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that, guys.
Well, like Rudy said, we were my dad passed away when we were, he passed away when we were young. I was probably like 13 when Rudy was it was probably like 11. And, growing up, my mom was just, she was just out there, not really giving us attention, really anything. We did have places to stay, but they didn't want us there. Like my uncle's house, cousin's house, and
Too many kids? Too many people in
maybe
the
that's
house
too many
often?
kids. Yeah, they had too many kids. Yeah. So, me and Rudy at night will be like, where we're gonna go. So we had to go, see what we can do, and even to eat at times. We didn't even have to eat, and it was a struggle out there. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was like Ruben said. So where we lived, like down the block, all my uncles stayed in that house.
Yeah.
We stayed with my mother, but my mother only had one bed, so it was her bed.
Yeah.
So me and Ruben sometimes would sleep on the floor.
yeah,
So sometimes Friday would come, and that was our escape to go over
Yeah.
there to 24/7.
Yeah.
And my mother would just, okay, going.
That's
Bye.
it. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know when I'll be back.
Wow.
She would just leave us like that.
Yeah.
And so at times it did hurt, It put me in a tough situation. Like, I don't know what God was doing in my life at that time because I was young,
Yeah.
and I went through some things that only God gets all the credit, and me and Ruben, we were always together.
Yeah. Y'all
Like-
are always together.
And that's why me and him are so close, because all my other brothers were already older,
Yeah.
and one of them was in jail, the other one was getting out of jail, the other one was and we were back and forth, staying from my brothers and staying from my other brothers and then staying from my mom's and then staying with right there at the Agora, and it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard.
How do you cope with that? How do you, your people are always like, oh, get an education, go to school, but yet you don't even have the basics. I can't even imagine how hard that was to stay focused you can't go home and just do homework. You don't even have somewhere you're going to stay.
Yeah.
What is that like, guys?
When I was in high school, I was almost at 12th grade. 12. I was already almost a senior, and sometimes I didn't want to go to school because I was like, man, where am I gonna eat? Where am I gonna go stay? I was trying to figure out those things
Yeah.
during school time, and like, where am I gonna after school? Where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
It's not a home for me, or like it would be like, oh, go to my uncle's, I'll be there, or my uncle, or just roam around doing things, But it was hard. It was hard.
Hard to stay focused, hard to...
Yeah, I'll just stay focused. Yes, yes. It was hard to ever had that push. Where my mom was there, we had a home, and
Yeah.
where we get out of school, go home, take a shower, or eat. I probably would have finished school, but it was hard.
Did either one of y'all finish school?
No.
And I can completely understand. So many people are like, well, we just need but honestly, when you've gone through so much adversity like you guys, I can understand why that happens.
Yeah.
In hindsight, meaning me looking back, I regret that we didn't do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look back and I wish we'd have got beside you more. My wife and I have had especially my heart, a vision of having a home for young men like you guys.
Yeah.
When you're in that, it's not just a bus to sleep in, but a place that you can really get support and encouragement. So I look back with a little bit of shame, and not shame, but of sadness that I could have done more. But so how did you, so did you just say, okay, at 10th grade, 11th grade, this isn't even worth it. I'm not going to go to school anymore. I mean, how did that happen? Because if neither one of you graduated, or you just didn't have the credits, or what happened?
I did have the credits to keep going to the next grade, but you know, like I said, there was times I didn't want to go to school because I didn't even have uniform.
Yeah,
it was hard, you know,
Yeah.
uniform, shoes. There was I would ask my one of my close friends, you know, hey, let me borrow some shoes. Give me some shoes, give me some clothes, and you know, it was hard. It was hard for us, you know. That's why there was times I didn't even want to go to school.
Yeah,
You know, because there was times I'll wake up even being hungry.
yeah,
You know, like it was hard for us. It was hard, real hard.
yeah. So I guess the same for you. When did you stop going, do you think? Do you remember?
So when I stopped going to school, it was when Ruben was in 12th grade.
Okay.
He was in 12 and I was in 9th.
Okay.
So at that time, when I went to the 9th grade, I had failed the 9th grade, so I fell back.
Okay.
So at that time, we were just, I mean, me and Ruben were just, we didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's why I was so skinny, because
I
there was times where we wouldn't even eat.
Yeah.
You're talking about like 2 or 3 days without eating.
Yeah.
And that's where me and Ruben learned to escape, to go, like, basketball was our thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
So for us, that was for us to escape from our situation that we were in.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what God was doing, but
Yeah.
at that time we didn't understand it. We were young.
Yeah.
So for us, it was just like, hey, I'm not home, but
Yeah.
come on, let's go play ball.
Yeah.
So that was our escape.
Y'all would go to
play
inner
ball.
city a lot too,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for
I
sure,
remember
yeah.
Pepe, Gus, all
Yeah.
the guys. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you do then after that? You go ahead and drop out. You're dropping out even earlier. What did y'all do? What was the plan? What was the, because that's about the time, I remember when you graduated, we started all losing a little bit more contact.
Right,
You know,
right.
that graduation age, I should say. And then you guys went off and didn't realize, the truth is, it was earlier when we started the youth ministry here in the West Side, we didn't really fully understand all the things y'all were going through. We saw it, but yet we didn't understand it the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're doing more things to help people that are going through those, but we loved you guys, but we now know we need to do more. Like we're tomorrow going to give away, we'll probably put on about 300 to 400 pair of shoes on students. And
Wow.
we've done that now multiple times through spring and summer because we know we got to do something about that. And we have a construction ministry where the guys work today and they got paid, so they got some money in their pocket and they're learning skills. So we're doing things now to help guys like you, but at a younger age, you know what I'm saying? But what did you do though after that high school time? What was your, what happened?
Mine was really, I didn't really do anything. I was, staying here and there. Even at my teenage, at 18, 19, we were still staying here and there.
Yeah.
I didn't even work because I was just so like, growing up, it was just so hard.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have, consistent parenting. You don't have school.
Right.
Reading and writing was very hard. I remember sometimes we would do Christmas gifts and I would read y'all's writing, and I'm not, I'm just saying, I didn't even know what it meant. And, but I don't blame y'all for that. I understood why.
Yeah.
And then today it's a little different because everyone texts, so they got to learn how to do some texting. But
for sure.
back then we didn't have any phones.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to get a job when you don't have you don't have high school. You can't really read or write really well.
Right.
And you don't have anybody showing you a better path in that regard.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Oh, so for me, about that time, that's when my dad had recently passed away.
Okay.
So when he passed away, I mean, I love school. I used to, that was my escape
Yeah.
from the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can actually eat something at school.
Yep.
You can actually eat your,
Hang out with friends.
yeah, and hang out with friends. But knowing that I was going home, I was miserable.
Yeah.
And so I started smoking.
Yeah.
Little by little, I started smoking.
Yeah.
Try to take away the pain and the suffering that I had. And then I started drinking.
Yeah.
And so I tried a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And I've been in a situation that it takes you a certain place you don't want to go.
Yeah.
But God put you in that situation in order for you to grow.
Yeah.
you know.
Man. Well, I remember getting reports, hey, man, Rudy is really getting out there and
Yeah.
he's getting into stuff. And I saw him over here and he was really messed up. And I remember my heart went out. But, I mean, what was that like? I mean, how do you even get money to do the drugs? And then what do you do? And then you just sitting at a home with a bunch of other guys that are doing the same thing or in a corner? What is life like then?
No, so at the age of like, I want to say, at my early age, I think I was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was doing coke.
Yeah. Okay.
I was doing nothing but coke, and I was drinking. And then my older brother, he actually introduced me to doing heroin. So at that time, he introduced me to heroin, so I got hooked on heroin.
Yeah.
And so I was hooked on heroin from my early age. You're talking about like 17, 18, until I was 21.
Wow.
So at that young age, I was already smoking dope.
And heroin's not a toy.
It's not something to play with.
It'll destroy your life.
Yeah.
Man, my dad died of that, and
I was going to ask, how did your dad die?
overdose.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see, and you know, my dad had 13 in total brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And all of them died of that.
Wow.
And you see,
Wow.
yeah.
Now that's scary. So let me understand what you're saying, so this thing is like, it's a cycle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They went through it. Their brothers went through it. They're all seeing it. They're going back to that same thing. And wow.
And it's crazy because it kept going because it went from my dad to my older brother to my second older brother, and it just kept going. And I saw Rudy do it, and you know, I thank God till now that I never touched that.
Yeah.
I never touched weed. Maybe when I was younger, like 15, maybe it was not every day. It was like here and there, but never got a hang of it like really every day, and never did any kind of needle, anything. I thank God for that, because the reason I didn't do it because you know, I lost family.
Yeah.
And this is not where, you know, you're in jail or just something you're dying of, you know. And this is where I saw my dad died of that, you know, my uncles. I even saw my brother overdose on it, you know, and that's something I never grabbed. I think.
Yeah, and again, no kid should ever have to go through that. No family should have to go through that. Y'all went through 15 different things.
Oh yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Parents seeing it, you know, I can't even imagine. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just and I thank God because I don't even know how I went through it.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, you know, my dad dying at a young age, going through, staying here and there, no food. You know, and
you're just trying to make it.
I was just trying to make it, you know.
Yeah.
Usually, when kids go through that, they want to suicide.
Yeah.
Because nobody's there for you.
No hope.
No hope.
Yeah.
Right. And I thank God that we're still here.
Yeah. Amen. I'm glad about that. And in a minute, we'll talk about that you're in a different place in life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about that for a little bit longer. So, I mean, like, what does that do? You seeing, because I can hear what you're saying, but understanding what it feels like to see my brother overdose or my dad overdose, what do you feel like when you see that in your point of life?
So for me, since I was doing it, I was out on the streets.
Okay.
For me, I was out in the streets.
Yeah.
He was on his own.
Okay.
So for me, I was out on the streets. I was on a bike with my brother.
Yeah.
So me and my brother were always together.
Yeah.
And he used to get stuff from his boss.
Okay.
So when he would get his stuff from his boss, and what I was doing, I was chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would get an aluminum foil.
Okay.
And then you would get the pure tar.
Yeah.
You would put it on the foil, and then you would break a pin, and then you would smoke it, and that was pure heroin. Pure. And I was smoking it.
Wow.
And I smoked it for 2 years. And then so my brother gets locked up. And then while I was in the streets, I'll see people shoot up in their neck. I'll see people shoot up in their feet, shoot up in their arms.
Yeah, I've seen toes, feet, everything.
And I see people shoot up in their hands.
And they're moving because you'll kill a vein, right? And then you'll see it. They something's wrong there.
Oh yeah.
So they'll go to another part of the body.
And a lot of people, they would poke themselves so much that they would get like those boils on their arms.
Yes.
And it would get so burnt out that, you know, you could see their track marks so much, you know. So, I mean, I remember shooting up once.
Yeah.
But I only shot up once. And that's that me and my brother well, one time we were sick, me and my brother.
Yeah.
So he told me, we're gonna shoot up because we only have one for enough for both of us. So he was like, look, since we're both sick, he goes, we're gonna share. He was like, but you're gonna go first.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know what he had.
Oh.
So he remember he cooked it because I mean my brother should shoot
Yeah.
a long time ago. So he's like, just come here. So he got my arm, he wrapped it just like you see in that movie Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
He wrapped it, he hit me,
Yeah.
and I just felt this sensation coming in my back. Just like I don't know how to explain it to you.
Yeah.
It's like a pill. Like
Yeah.
when you take a pill and the it just felt like this sensation.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, wait, this is the only time we're gonna shoot, and that's it. And you know, I've been through
Yeah.
situations where
Yeah.
it was hard for me.
Well, and I remember you were skinny younger, but you were like really skinny when I think I saw you once or twice during that phase, and
yeah.
I was like, wow, he's messed up. I mean, in the stuff. So okay, you're going through all this. You're dealing with addiction. You're dealing with just the hopelessness of your situation.
Yeah.
And then something changed. Thank you for watching the Agora cast. Because of time, we've split this into 2 different episodes. This is the end of the first episode, and we're very thankful you've watched it. Please come back and watch episode 2. Thank you for watching the Agora cast. Would you please subscribe? That way you know when we post a new episode or content. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what spoke to you in the podcast, or if you have a prayer request. And if you'd like to support the ministry financially, you can scan the QR code or click the Give button now and help us continue to serve the poor and those in need for our Lord Jesus. Thank you.